Hi, this is Dan from Magic Pachinko Restorations, coming to you from my isolated upstate New York workshop. I give you a good look at this 1975 Sanyo Comet 2 vintage Pachinko. Right now the ball out light is on. As with all of my restorations, every single piece of this machine is disassembled, thoroughly cleaned, and then reassembled. That includes the artwork. This is not the original artwork that was on the machine. It had suffered terribly with yellowing and water spotting. So it's obviously a brand new play field. All of this gets taken off because to do a playfield change, everything has to come off. The nails, brass nails, get tumbled so they're nice and shiny. They get reset, realigned. The spinners were in kind of rough shape, so I've repainted the spinners. The center attraction, a lot of the red and the dark blue had just been lost over time, so that all got repainted. This got repainted, resilvered. This was resilvered. The Sanyo up in here had the silver put back on it. Cabinet cleaned. The wood gets stripped, sanded, polyurethaned, pretty much broken down to its individual pieces, completely cleaned and then reassembled. Pachinko machines will work when they're clean. There's just no doubt about it. So let me turn it around so you can see the back side. This is mounted on a couple of stabilization feet so that it won't, it would tip if you tipped it hard enough, but it's pretty stable right now for use on a tabletop or whatever. This machine had tipped over at some point in its life, and this was broken. This has been all epoxied back together. A missing piece was replaced and cleaned up best I could. It's good and solid. It'll serve its function. Right now you can see there's two lights here. One is lit. That is the ball out light. That's this one. So without any balls in it, the light would be lit. Over here is the jackpot switch. So there's the other bulb that comes on when a jackpot is made. So all of this taken off, thoroughly cleaned. These get loaded up with cigarette smoke residue and oil from your hands. They get quite gummy and sticky and ugly. So again, everything taken off, cleaned. This board is sanded, polyurethaned. This frame is all torn apart, plain, sanded, polyurethane. All the rust is gone. And then this is a 12-volt power supply. It just plugs into the wall, comes into a fused area here, and runs the two lights. That's all there is. You don't need power to play the machine. It's just simply power to the lights. So when you set up a Pachinko machine to get ready for use, you should have at least a minimum of 300 Pachinko balls. Most Pachinko machines will handle almost 1,000 Pachinko balls. 300, I would say, is probably the minimum. So you take about 90% of the Pachinko balls that you have and place them in your upper supply tray. So the design of a Pachinko is that they run down this is a double run. They come down into a turnaround and again go into a double run and then come in here and feed the jackpot chamber. This is the jackpot chamber. They feed the jackpot chamber on either side and then they stop and they're ready for a payout. So when the machine cycles, this mechanism in here will move. It will light the light. It will release the bottom and let the Pachinko balls out and out the front of the machine, and then the whole thing resets. As the balls work this way, eventually the weight comes off of this, and it would turn that red light on and let you know you need to put more balls up in the upper tray. So right now the machine has got plenty of balls in it. It's ready to go. The only other thing you want to check is your seesaw. This is called the seesaw chamber here. And there's a piece, in this case it's gray plastic, and it's sitting exaggerated on an angle like this. You want it this way, tipped the other way. So there's a little white plunger here you just lift up, and that puts the seesaw in this way. So when a winning ball comes into the machine, it goes to the seesaw. The weight of that ball tips the seesaw. It exits through this chute here and hits the end of the jackpot arm, which is right here. The weight of the ball pushes that arm down to here, right here. When it goes down, this arm goes up, and when this arm goes up, it releases the pachinko balls that come out the front of the machine as the prize. And then the winning ball, once the paper clip lifts up, the winning ball drops out of the machine and the whole machine resets. So this is where a winning ball exits the machine. All the losing balls exit the machine through the bigger chute here. So you do need some sort of a catch basin. I don't get enough of these to supply them with the machines. I do supply you with 300 pachinko balls, but I don't have enough of these to supply. So anything that is as wide as this here and about, you know, that deep, and it just sits like that and catches the balls as they drop out of the machine. So we'll turn the machine back around and show it to you in action. So like I said, you're putting 95% of the pachinko balls you own in the upper hopper back here. You're going to start with a handful of balls in the front tray. Put the catch bin back here. So now you have balls that are feeding into the machine. The winning balls will exit here. If this starts to get full, you can push back on this and they'll drop into this tray. Okay. So the first time that you go to launch a ball, nothing will happen. It takes one cycle to actually get a ball in onto the launch ramp. So that does not launch a ball. But the next time I do, it will launch a ball. And that's a loser. Right now the tulips are closed. Makes them more difficult to get a ball into. Certain things in this, in the center attraction and the side attractions will open those tulips, and then they're much easier to win. So let me launch some balls here. See if we can get a win. So a ball went into the tulip when it was closed. It gave us the win and opened the tulip. So now that tulip is a much larger target. So I'll see if I can drop another one in. Or not. There we go. Okay, now, interesting enough, this did not pay. So what you need to do is stop playing and figure out why. And for some reason, there, it just the weight didn't drop the seesaw enough. So that's what you want to do anytime you're playing pachinko. If a ball doesn't give you the prize that you expect, then stop playing and determine why. Because if you had continued to play, it just would have keep stacking balls up. They wouldn't have, nothing would have come out, and all you're doing is compounding the problem. The last two that you heard both dropped into this tulip, one right after another, but the machine is set so that once the first ball goes in and the seesaw tips, it comes back up, and then that second ball goes in and the seesaw would tip again and comes back up. So the machine will handle multiple payouts very quickly, assuming that everything is functioning. So again, with any of my machines, they have a lifetime guarantee, that being my lifetime. I'm always available by phone. I will gladly help you get this set up in your home. And these should last pretty much a lifetime now that they're clean, and they just don't get the abuse that they got in the pachinko parlors. So hopefully this will be something you might want to have in your game room or your family room. Again, any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks.